here? Well, this man, Eduardo Sarabia, crashes the border during Joe Biden's time in office. We believe it was around 2022. And he gets himself a van and he decides he's going to give women rides up into the Angeles National Forest. Here's Fox 11, okay, covering the story. They did break this story to the world, to their credit. But listen to the anchors at Fox 11 describe this rapist, this illegal immigrant rapist who took women up to the mountains of Santa Monica and raped them. He raped them. That's what this scumbag did. And this is how these anchors talk about this man. They won't call him an illegal immigrant. They say they mention that once, and they use the word documented, undocumented. They say, okay. Listen to how they can't get over themselves. We broke this story. They mention it two or three times, but they don't mention the victims. They don't mention the policy that brought this man here. Listen to the way Fox 11 reported on this story. Here we go. And this is why ICE is out in force. They're trying to get people like this Eduardo Sarabia guy. Here we go. Fox 11 and their phony reporting on this unbelievable story.
Wheels takes a plea bargain. Eduardo Sarabia took the plea today in Pomona. He was facing 80 years in prison for rape. His attorney told him his alleged victims were outside court ready to testify. So he agreed to a deal with 25 years in prison. Our Haley Winslow broke that story when it happened, and since her original report, his niece and two other victims have come forward, making for a total of 2 children and 3 adult victims. Sarabia is an undocumented immigrant, and the case was highlighted by President Trump when he talks about deporting criminal aliens. By the way, Haley Winslow has been nominated for an Emmy for that story.
Hope she wins. She deserves
it. Powerful.
Yep.
Only on Fox 11, this. A first look inside the van that investigators are calling a rape dungeon on wheels. It's all connected to a man who's now accused of sexually assaulting at least 2 women in the Angeles National Forest. Haley Winslow broke that story on Tuesday, and there's shocking new details in a story you'll see only on Fox 11. Haley.
Undoubtedly heroes, Christine. The only 2 Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies for 400 square miles save a young woman and likely many more, while investigators say she was restrained inside this van at knife point and in the middle of being raped. This is a first exclusive look inside this torture chamber that 2 ladies we know of so far suffered through. Law enforcement officers fear they're not alone. Brace yourself for a first exclusive look inside what investigators call a, quote, rape dungeon on wheels. Oh my God. Described as rigged for rape. Condoms, ropes, bungees, children's toys, multiple cell phones and hard drives. And the mattress, worn, stained, disgusting. And I can say in almost a 20-year career, this is the most disturbing scene I've ever been in. Now, all of that evidence has, of course, been processed. Everything that's in here is what's left. Investigators say the man they call a serial rapist would lock women inside this mobile cage, locked in from the outside, behind this metal partition with no escape, except for by their scream that they describe as blood-curdling. Detectives say that scream likely saved a 26-year-old woman's life. 40-year-old Eduardo Sarabia is now locked behind a similar metal cage on suicide watch. He was arraigned on Wednesday, formally charged with 2 felony counts of sexual assault for forcible rape of 2 women this week alone. But based on this setup, detectives believe there are many more yet to come forward. LA County Sheriff's deputies say the man lived inside this 2015 Ford Transit van where he would offer females a ride, say he was camping up in the San Gabriel Mountains, and then take them to a dark, scary, remote location in the Angeles National Forest with no chance of a cell signal. It's up Highway 39 in Azusa Canyon at mile marker 21 in a pitch black dirt turnout. And inside this, quote, rape dungeon, investigators say that's where Sarabia would rape and molest them. Investigators say that he picked up those 2 women this week at the El Monte train station. Those are the only 2 so far that we know of, but of course there
All right. So these are the guys that ISIS are after. That man should never have been in this country. What was Joe Biden's reasoning for letting this man in? This Edwardo Sarabia drove women around in a van and raped them in the Santa Monica Mountains. It happened to be, just so happened, the only reason they got this guy is there were two heroic deputies from the LA County Sheriff's Department who happened to be in the area and heard a scream. Eric Brenner, Breaking News, Los Angeles. We are here covering this story, highlighting it for the people of the world who think, well, what is President Trump doing this for? Well, this is the reason why he's doing it. We would have saved these women from being raped if this man was never let in this country. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. Where's Mark Ruffalo right now with his stupid pin? With the stupid pin that he puts on. Telling people that ICE are murderers. Where is he right now? I didn't see him at the courthouse when they sentenced. Why did they give Edwardo Sarabia, this rapist, this illegal immigrant rapist, why did they give him a plea deal of 25 years? He was facing 80 years. Why would you bother giving this guy a plea deal? Eric Brenner, Breaking News, Los Angeles. It's a terrible tragedy. Now, this man, by the way, Edwardo Sarabia, the van rapist in the Santa Monica Mountains, he's sitting today in Mill Creek State Prison. So apparently he might get out in 25 years. Prosecuted by George Gascon, one of the biggest lowlifes going. Thank God he's out of office. Eric Brenner here, Breaking News, Los Angeles. Now, the shooting, the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy, obviously I brought this up because they were after guys like this. These are the people they're after. And Mr. Preddy, who was a great man by all accounts, an ICU nurse, a gun owner who I respect, did the wrong thing by inserting himself into this news story. And the media and all the liberal hysterical women attacking me from Marin County might want to think about this case of Edwardo Sarabia, the van rapist, raping women in the Santa Monica Mountains. Now, Kamala Harris has never publicly mentioned this case. She never reached out to the victims. She never went to the courthouse denouncing this man. She was right there when that drug addict and violent man, George Floyd, overdosed back in 2020. She took a knee. She was raising money for the rioters. She never said one word about the victims of this van rapist, this illegal immigrant rapist, Edwardo Sarabia. So everybody needs to think about this, and they need to realize that Governor Walz reached out, President Trump, reached out to Governor Walz to lower the temperature here. There's going to be a full investigation into Mr. Preddy's death. And we'll be following it right here on Breaking News Los Angeles. I can tell you this right now. He made a mistake by inserting himself into a news story. You never want to do that. And you're never going to win against armed federal agents. May he rest in peace. And I hope the public out there realizes what's happening here. This was a very, very volatile situation that Mr. Preddy inserted himself into. And he made a big mistake. Stay tuned for more coverage on these and other breaking news stories here in Los Angeles. I'm Eric Brenner for Breaking News Los Angeles. We'll see you next time.